Florence Nabaterega gave 23 years of her life to an abuser and a user. When he cut off her hands and killed her children in cold blood, Florence admitted that she should have packed her bags and left before doom. When Life Stories featured Florence's story, it spread like a wildfire. Men and women, young and old, heard our call and set to get Florence back to bliss. Life has changed for Florence. With the help of good Samaritans who watched the show, she managed to get artificial hands, and today she's trying to do a few things here and there by herself, as opposed to her little child not going to school and doing everything for her. And also, Florence's story was the cover story of some magazines as they followed it up after Life Stories. Her children are going to Mackay Primary School in Busega, courtesy of good Samaritans who watched this show and came to Florence's help. So many people have gone to see Florence. And second time round, as she was hosted on Life Stories, when she met Annette, another lady without hands but very empowered, another good Samaritan came around and actually gave her a house in her own home district, Mityana district. Life is changing slowly by slowly for Florence. From the little funds that people keep giving her, she's trying to start up a business. But still, the struggle continues. In whichever way you can help Florence, you're always welcome. Mama Balema, as she's commonly known in Bukula Sub-County, Kalungu District, is more able to take care of her foster children or children under her care, as our viewers gave her a sewing machine and built her a brand new house. George Mukasa's story caused all sorts of emotions to different people. Men felt directly offended by the fact that a man could do this to a young man, and women felt more than insecure about their young sons. George, tubuulireko ekyabaawo nga oli omusajja akututte. Tubuulire. Yakusalawo. Tewakuba nduulu. Wazikuba. Wakaaba. Kati mami yali alirudda. Ate daddy. Ewaka tewaliwo bantu balala. Kati bo baali balirudda. Waka. Nabo baali waka. Tebamulaba nga akutwala. When George's story aired on Life Stories, things did work together for good. Take a look. So, Pastor, when did you meet George and how did you meet George?
I met George in 2009 after he had been attacked. And we met him in Kampala International Hospital. He had been given a ward there, and the doctors were trying to find out what to do with him. And they seemed to have reached a limit of where they could help him. Kampala International Hospital transferred him to the Coastal Rehabilitation Center, where the doctors the plastic surgeons were trying to do a reconstruction surgery, but he had complications because his urethra was cut from the base of his penis. And so it was difficult to connect that urethra or put an artificial urethra to be able to urinate as a man. Because urine is acidic and it irritates skin. So any artificial urethra that they would have put in was irritated by skin and it always blocked. And so the doctors had no other option but to put him back onto the catheter that he was probably going to have for the rest of his life. And so God opened the door for us, and we were able to take him to Australia, and he had that life-saving surgery.
Why Australia?
I have been to Australia a couple of times myself, and I have very good friends there. But his case was different. I was on the plane going to speak in different churches in Australia, and I sat next to a doctor of general practice who was visiting South Africa. And it so happened that his wife and him were not sitting together because their tickets had been altered. And they were mad, because why would you change a ticket of somebody who is traveling with their wife and make them sit separate? So the man talked to me, and he asked me where I was coming from, and he was just about to tell me to move to where his wife is so that his wife can come and sit with him. But then he asked me where I'm from and what I do, and he told me he was a doctor, and we kind of bonded and was flying to Brisbane. And then we had a little talk, and I told him, because I left George at the hospital when I was traveling. And before I went to the airport, I passed at NTV Coastal Rehabilitation Center and said goodbye to George. I told him I'll be back, because we were facilitating his medical through Coastal Rehabilitation Center. And on the plane, I found this doctor. And when he told me he was a doctor, the first thing that came to my mind was George. So I said, after talking, I told him, can you please find me a specialist who is a urologist who can work on this dying boy in the hospital? And he told me, send me an email and let me know, and I'll contact some of the friends. And he contacted one friend, and that friend referred to the urological specialist who we contacted, and were able to transfer George for that life-saving surgery.
So what exactly did George have for surgery?
What they did is they diverted the urethra and created an opening near his anus, and then he sits on the toilet like a girl. And that was that one. They said it was not going to bring him any other trauma since he's a child. When he is 14, going into adolescence and puberty, he's going to have another surgery that they will put the urethra through his penis and create a proportionate penis so that he can be able to urinate normally as a man. And actually they said they can give him a false erection. He can have sex after that. But he will never have children, unfortunately. But the surgery was, the doctors, there was a plastic surgeon on the panel, there was a urologist on the panel, an anesthetist, and all of them thought that that was the best way, which is not traumatic, for him to be able to have a life and to heal, and then he can have another surgery after he is 14.
So for now, that was the last surgery?
That was the last surgery. That is the surgery that we had in Australia. And then he will have another surgery.
At 14?
At 14, because then he would have grown into a man, and they would have given him a small penis for a child, and they will have to make it proportionate to his body. Okay. And then they can put a urethra so he can urinate normally as a child. Because right now as a child it is...
it is negligible to him.
Yeah, it is. It is not as important to him, maybe. But when he grows up, he will need to be able to have a real proper urination, like any other man.
Right now he's fine, but since last year when we got him in second term, he was urinating in his clothes. By the time he tells you that, teacher, I want to go for a short call, he's already wet. But now he's fine. He can come to you. He asks and then he goes to the toilet. His performance is medium. We got him in second term when he was not able to write anything, but according to his age. So he was promoted from baby class to top class, but at least he's trying. Because right now he can write letters A to Z. He can do simple addition like 2 plus 1, on his own.
So how has this changed George's life? Is he fine? Is he okay now?
It is good to see him enjoy life like a normal child. He plays soccer, he runs around, he can sing, he goes to school, he wakes up with no problems, he eats well. It has completely changed his life. And whoever has been a part of his story, God is going to bless them. It's been amazing, the change.
He can even swim.
He can swim. Yesterday he was swimming. So we try to engage him in activities that will bring healing, not only education, but music and swimming and extra curricular activities that he can be able to engage his mind and heal his life. And we believe that he will.
He'll be fine. All right, thank you so much, Pastor, for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for helping George.
Yeah, and thank you for
so much.
Creating awareness. You are a partner in this.
Thank you.
And
Thanks,
everybody who can be a part of it. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. And it was all because of you, our dear viewers. Thank you so much for responding to the calls that we give you to come around and help these people. Let's go into another break. We continue with the follow-up on the different stories that we have featured on this show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.